good evening. It is a pleasure to be back. I'm Dr. William T. Wright Jr., the founder and host of this show called The Wright Experience. And I am excited to be continuing this work that we started way back in 2021, right at the end of the pandemic. And we're looking forward to continuing to build upon the amazing guests that we have. And I want to take a few moments to just briefly talk about our new sponsor. We have a new sponsor. The sponsor is Infinity Force Group, LLC, and that is an organization that works to support leaders, and those leaders are looking to have an infinite impact in leadership. So if you're in need of some specific goals in terms of leadership development, please look to Infinity Force Group to help you with your needs. They can be reached. The website is infinityforcegroup.com, and the email for the organization is infinityforcegroup@gmail.com. And so we're looking forward to continuing our relationship with our sponsor. This evening, I have the opportunity of introducing to some of you and presenting to others an amazing leader, a young leader who is continuing to grow his portfolio, and very proud of the work that he is doing. Tonight, I have Mayor Weyling J. White. Mayor White is a nonprofit executive. He's a public health leader and the first African-American mayor of Ahoskie, North Carolina. He previously served as executive director of Care Share Health Alliance and in leadership roles at Roanoke Shawan Community Health Center, where he advanced health equity and expanded access to care. He served as the vice president of state and regional impact at Education Reform Now, where he led multi-state initiatives to strengthen funder networks and advance educational equity. As mayor, he is championing economic revitalization, violent crime prevention, youth empowerment, and many other town needs through initiatives, policy, and advocacy. Deeply committed to education and opportunity, he has helped launch local scholarships and youth programming while building partnerships across philanthropy, healthcare, and civic leadership. Guided by a belief in collaboration and the power of community, he continues to drive systemic change at both the local and state levels. Mayor White serves on boards such as the North Carolina Rural Center, North Carolinians Against Gun Violence, and many others, in addition to being the chair of the Hertford County Mental Health Maintenance Alliance. While he has been recognized across the state and nation for his leadership, his proudest accomplishment is giving back to his hometown, and his greatest joy is being a father. And second is being my fraternity brother. Is that right, Brother White?
Absolutely.
I want to welcome you to the Wright Experience, Mayor White. Certainly glad to have you here. We've been talking about getting together for a long time, so certainly feel honored to have you aboard the show. Want to start, if I can, by jumping right into some questions here. If you'll just talk to us, those of us that are not familiar with our beloved city, talk to us a little bit about Ahoskie, North Carolina.
So I just want to start by saying I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I definitely think highly of you, brother. So it's an honor and a privilege to be on your show. So thank you again for the opportunity. But Ahoskie is something that I'm passionate about, love talking about. And historically, Ahoskie was originally called Ahoskie. So for anyone that's familiar with our region here in Eastern North Carolina, a lot of the culture, we do pay homage to the indigenous of the Native American. So we are, Ahoskie is Native American, and we are home to the Maharian tribe. And so we give, definitely respect to the Native Americans here. Ahoskie is also the only one. So we that's our motto. We live by that, and you'll never find another Ahoskie anywhere on the globe. And so that's our motto. And not only is our name unique, but our people here are unique as well. One thing that I tell a lot of people when they're traveling to this side of the state is that the Ahoskie seems to be the oasis in the desert. So, it's very rural here, but we are an hour away from everything. So from here, you can be at ECU in Greenville, or you can be at Virginia Beach within an hour. So, depending on how fast you're going, I would say. But we have wonderful people here, very rural. Of course, we're on the east of I-95, but some of the leading, I would say, occupations here, of course, is going to be manufacturing, healthcare, farming, and agriculture, of course. But we are very proud of our history, of course, the people here. And I would say the number one thing that makes me excited about Ahoskie is opportunity, because we have plenty of that to grow and to be innovative here as well.
And just in the 3 years that I've been away, when I came back a couple months ago, I was like, wow, we've got some new things going on here. So talk to us a little bit about the future. What are some things that are on the horizon that you can share with us? Because I know maybe everything you can't, but what are some things that are going on in the near future with regards to Ahoskie?
Ahoskie, I will say what we're saying now is that I encourage everyone to come take a look at Ahoskie, come tour, take pictures, because in 5 years, Ahoskie is not going to look the same. Right now, we are right on the brink of establishing and finalizing our first strategic plan. This has been something I've been wanting to do for an extremely long time. I know people have been tired of me talking about it, but we have a robust strategic plan with 8 priority areas that we are focusing on. And so we're going to be making huge changes to our downtown. One of the things I'm very, very passionate about and very excited about is the revitalization efforts that we're going to be putting out throughout the town. A lot of people talk about, the appearance, and I remember when Ahoskie was thriving and people are just leaving their homes or leaving businesses, and how the appearance of the town looks. And so we are taking the appropriate steps, not only to fix it through policy, but also through volunteer programs and projects as well. One of which is going to actually be starting this weekend with Project Block. A lot of people have, small rural areas as well as inner cities have had areas of town that may have been affected by by drugs and violence and things of that nature. Which we had one here that was once thriving, but of course through the crack era, there was some challenges throughout that neighborhood, and it was just left abandoned. And so we're going to do some revitalization and bring some beautification to those areas. And this is the first of many. We're going to start, we got to start somewhere. So we're starting right in the neighborhood that has the most importance and significance. And then we're going to follow that trend all across town, fixing up different neighborhoods and providing more beautification and revitalization efforts. I would say the biggest thing that I'm very excited about, and I can't talk too much about it because I don't have all of the details. They haven't shared everything just yet. But we have a wonderful relationship with our county commissioners, and they are putting together efforts to bring some major industry here. And it's going to be huge for our area. They've had a huge investment from the state that we are very, very excited about and passionate about. And it's going to do wonders for the entire community. It's going to grow Ahoskie. It's going to grow all of our towns, and it's going to be beneficial for the entire region. And so that's why I say between our efforts that we are partnering with the county on, it's going to be transformative for our entire community.
Yeah, that's a good group of folks over there at the county commission, because you
Mhm.
remember back in 2021, we worked collaboratively with them to get Ahoskie Elementary built,
Absolutely.
and I
Yeah,
think that's an amazing. So just hanging there with those folks, I think you'll get some good results for
absolutely.
sure. That's a good thing.
Hmm.
So, Mr. Mayor, I remember back when you first got sworn in, and I think I was present for that and everything. But what inspired you? I don't know that I've ever heard that story, and certainly my audience will be interested. What inspired you to serve in the capacity that you're in now as mayor?
But I always start this conversation or this answer by saying I had absolutely no interest in politics whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've been, I've met a lot of my colleagues that say, hey, I always wanted to be a councilman or a mayor. Um, Growing up, I would see the commercials and people would tell you, don't vote for this person because, they did this in the past. And I was like, man, I don't want nobody looking in my past. I don't want to be publicly known or none of that. But it was a journey for me. So of course my background has been in public health. So I've always been a true believer of servant leadership and giving back and being of service. So saving lives, being there for the people has always been something that I've been passionate about. And throughout my career, I've always looked at social drivers of health. When people are coming in, they don't have health care, health insurance, or they may have these chronic diseases. We've always looked at, okay, what are the social environments that are contributing to some of these drivers that are impacting the health of our patients. And so we was doing a lot of phenomenal things in health, but I couldn't have an impact on policy if someone is living in an unsafe environment, and so they're having some trauma or um, they're having these mental issues because they're afraid to go outside at night. So there was a lot of social issues that I was seeing from my standpoint that I really couldn't touch. um, and one of the most, I would say, um, important things that I kept seeing recurring, that was a recurring issue, was the violence throughout our community. I've lost countless family members, friends to gun violence, and I was recognizing the lack of awareness and the lack of attention from our leaders at the time. Um, and I know a lot of people will say, "Why don't you just start a nonprofit or just become an activist?" I prayed on it, and I went through a lot of just a season of just learning about my state, learning about my community. And for a lot of people that grow up here in Ahoskie, and this is true, you can talk to a lot of people, there's not a lot of pride. We are trying to change that now, but I recognize that because I was one of those people. I wasn't very prideful of where I was, even though I was working to turn things around. And it wasn't until I started to change my mindset and look at, hey, we have wonderful assets here in town. We have wonderful opportunity. We just got to have the right mindset and know that we can bring change and that things are possible. And so I put that with the current issue that we're having, and which was around gun violence, and prayed. And then my birthday, my grandmother's house had a shootout in her yard,
Oh
and
wow.
we took her to the church for a birthday party. We came back and I was stepping on shells and I saw holes in her house and in my uncle's car. And I believe in signs. I believe in Lord speaking to you. And I said, okay, Lord, you brought this issue right to my front door, my doorstep. You have to do something about this. And I decided that day that I would file and run for mayor, and start speaking to the actual needs and the voice of the people that I see on the street, that I see in our office and at grocery stores, and just being a true representation of our people. And so that's what led me to put my name on. I ran unopposed, and 6 years later, here we are.
All right, all right. Well, congratulations on taking that leap and step of faith, and we do appreciate your efforts and the work that you're doing to uh, make us proud to say that Ahoskie is the only one, a better
Absolutely,
place. Yeah,
absolutely.
so that's a wonderful thing. So speaking of that work, talk to us about some of the challenges, maybe lessons learned in those 6 years that you've served as mayor.
Plenty of plenty of both. Plenty of challenges, plenty of lessons learned. I would say I didn't run because of this reason. It wasn't until, doing my research, I was like, oh, we never had an African American mayor before. Um, that was a challenge in itself.
Uh-huh.
Being the first, and a couple of weeks ago, I was at a conference. I was at the CBC Congressional Black Caucus conference, and one of the mayors there said something that was very true. He said that African American mayors are held to um, you have the black expectation, but you also have the white fear, and you're working at that intersection. And um, that is something that has been very hard to work through, because being the first African American, I'm held to different standards, some unrealistic standards, but um, my constituents put me here. And the funny thing is, I went to a lot of people that can't tell me the previous mayor's name, but they can tell me everything that I should be doing that I have absolutely no business even interfering with. So it's that level of expectation that you're trying to reach, but that also comes with the level of racism. I mean, this was 2019 when I was elected, and to be the first, it just shows the true power of not only racism, but I would say the lack of unity amongst the community for us to accept diverse candidates and be able to have enough confidence to put someone African American in this seat. And so I had to deal through the racism. Also, being young, I was 33 when I was elected. So there was a lot of older leadership that may have felt like I wasn't ready, or I wasn't mature enough, or anything like that. But being a black man, especially in the public health and healthcare, I'm used to being the only person and having to represent my entire race sometimes. So um, I've always had to prove myself, and I'm used to that. And so I just know how to just put my head down and let my work speak for me. So there was a lot of challenges. One of the biggest lessons that I learned, of course, I heard it repeatedly, but it really didn't hit me until I got into this role, that you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And when you're doing something right, you'll know, because people are going to have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it was just like, okay, somebody's sick, we get them better, we solve the problem, they're happy. But when you're putting in when there's so many different opinions, so many different um, feelings about different things that are going on, you'll have 90% of the people cheering you on, but there'll be 10% that is going to just hate you for the rest of your life. And that's something that I had to learn, is that, even with the wonderful things that we're going to be doing, there's going to be someone that's just not going to accept it. And so I had to learn that, had to learn thick skin. And also that some of the people that you respect the most, that look like you, that you've been fans of, are going to let you down. That was a tough pill to swallow. Just seeing some heroes that uh, treated me a little bit differently once I got in this role. So I had to learn a lot of hard truths, had to swallow a lot of pills, but I was able to use it and use that as fuel to do the right thing, and just to persevere and move forward.
So along that last little bit there, and you and I probably could write a book on that one, brother.
I'm sure.
But 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 here's what I would say to you. So now, as we are paying it forward to someone who would be coming up behind us and trying to break some of the barriers that you're currently facing, have faced, will face, what advice would you give to folks who are seeking to be public servants like yourself, seeking to
Hmm.
make a difference, seeking to make a change?
Yeah. The two things that have worked for me is just being your authentic self.
Uh-huh.
Um, that has, at the end of the day, I make sure that I have to be comfortable with myself inside my skin. Like, I have to be comfortable with going out here in front of everyone and making sure that if I come to a decision, that's something that I can go to sleep on at night. If I feel uncomfortable about it, I feel uneasy, I learned just to go with my gut. At the end of the day, if I'm being if I'm being myself and I'm making these decisions, these are something that I have to stand by. I'm a man of my word, and also just to be true to your values, like establish your values early. What is this? What do you stand on? For me,
Right.
my values are loyalty, respect, and honor. If I have those three, if I know I'm walking into a situation and I'm being loyal to my community, I'm leading with respect, and I'm gonna present myself in an honorable manner, I know I'm doing right by my community. So those are the three things that I lead by. So someone needs to, I would want someone to establish those values as well. Um, and also, I also preach transparency.
Yeah.
That has helped me a bunch, my entire council. Now we are transparent, and it helps us because it keeps us accountable, and it keeps the public. It builds trust for one. I believe in the spirit of collaboration. So when we're doing strategic plans, hey, we're doing this focus group. We're building this with you all. Right now, we have all of our um, town council meetings that are streaming live on Facebook because we don't want to hide anything. We want to look at the comments. We want to encourage that, and we want to have feedback. I'm everywhere out and about. I get all of the complaints. I get all the good stuff, but I welcome it because it makes us better, and I can accept the criticism because I put myself out there. I can take it. So authenticity and transparency is something that I will um, always encourage someone to practice if they're coming to serve leadership.
So you're really describing being intentional about getting better, and it's okay to be out and about and hear the noise, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because ultimately that's what helps shape you as a good leader, and it helps you to put your best foot forward. That's kind of what I hear you saying. Is that pretty
Absolutely.
accurate? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about since I've learned that you're this public health expert as well. I got just a couple for you. So the world of public health, as we know, is changing. Did I get that right? I mean, it's different than it was. You're much younger than I am, but 20 years ago, public health looked differently than it
Hmm.
does now. And so, as we're talking to families about navigating public health, if we've got families in a community like ours that's rural and there are not a lot of options for healthcare, what advice would you give to families as they're trying to navigate public health or healthcare in general? If you can
Hmm.
speak to that.
Um, I would say number one to um, not just my people, but to everybody, take your health serious for one.
Uh huh.
Um, I'm someone that's practicing what I preach as well, but I think just with all of the changes, I mean, we're going to be seeing changes to SNAP, we're seeing changes to Medicaid, changes to access, and for rural areas, it every change or every setback hits us 10 times harder. So when I say really take your own health into consideration, I mean just be very, very um, just have it at the forefront of everything because we don't know where this is going to end up, but we have to start taking preventative measures. So making sure, of course, that you're dieting, making sure that you are on top of medications. That's number one. Is just to learn to because I know that there's health literacy issues as well. But that's the most important thing is to be in charge of your health. The second is to utilize resources that are available.
Right.
So I know that there's transportation issues. Of course, there's broadband issues. There are a lot of different barriers that come into play with people that are trying to access care or just access information. But if you are with the doctor's office, take advantage of things like my chart, be able to look at your results, your A1Cs, being able to communicate with your provider, your doctor. Um, and also take advantage of community programs. So just for an example, tomorrow We are partnering with the Hertford County Office of Aging, a couple of other programs, and we're doing a Med Assist program right here in Ahoskie. And this is giving free medications to residents not only of Ahoskie but for the surrounding areas as well. So just make sure that you are seeking assistance, that you're looking staying on top of what's going on in your community as well, because we some areas they lack opportunities, they lack healthcare initiatives, but like one of the things that we are witnessing here is that we have these resources, but there's a breakdown of actually people knowing that it exists or knowing about it. So if you can just follow different everyone's now is on Facebook, making sure that you're following your doctor's office, making sure that you're following the health department, like staying on top of what's going on, because things in healthcare change rapidly. Things in our country change rapidly. I mean, we saw that with COVID. COVID, it just happened quick, and every day I was working, front lines on it. Every day something was changing. We had to change our workflow. We had to announce this to the public. So things are fast and rapid in healthcare. So just making sure that everyone does their part to stay on top of their health and what's going on in their community.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we'll continue to be at that in any way that this show can help get the word out. Mr. Mayor, this platform is open now and in the future to do so. I've got one. This will kind of be my last major question, unless it
Okay.
prompts something else. So I'll leave room for that.
Okay.
But now that you've done this work for some time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're what we call a dual practitioner, what does it really? Because you mentioned this. What does it really mean to preserve and or maintain health?
Hmm. Preserve and maintain health. I think that that's a good question.
Yeah,
So I think of course health covers the broad spectrum of
right, right,
encompasses everything. So I think when we're looking at that, we're looking at not just I'm getting up and my body feels good, but we're thinking about your mental, your emotional, um, even the relationships that you have with others. There's a lot that impacts your health, and so I think preserving it is looking, of course, looking at that broad spectrum. Um, but that's just this preserving it and acting on it is something that you're going to do every day. So if you're
right.
going to therapy, you're going to church, even if you don't have those resources, having someone to talk to, having a friend, having a mentor, being able to de-stress, to decompose, also being able to uh, uh, regulate your emotions properly as well.
Yeah,
So there's a lot that goes into it, and we even touch eating right and dieting and and the physical fitness part of it. So just recognizing the steps and what's going to be best for you. Not everyone needs to go out and run a marathon. Not everyone is going to have to be a cross trainer. But the physical activity and the the steps that you're taking to better yourself each and every day, I feel like is what that encompasses. Everyone can no matter your faith, if you gotta pray or if it's just getting up with the right attitude. I'll say I'm just this week I got some news, and in my mind I was trying to process like, okay, I'm gonna feel good about this. I'm not gonna worry about anything, but I can feel my blood pressure rising within my own body, and some anxiety setting in, and I was like, okay, I can't even psych myself out. Let me go for a walk. So went out in the neighborhood. It was a pretty day. Took my meetings, my calls, and I just went for a walk. And I was able to get some fresh air, clear my mind, and I felt better when I came back in for my next meeting. And so just doing whatever it is that make you feel better, um, to help your well-being and to put additional years on your life, as I feel like that's what that's accomplishing.
Awesome. So what I hear you saying also is that it is okay to self care.
Absolutely.
to look out, whatever that means, whether it is the physical, whether it is dieting properly, whether it is getting therapy, getting help, whether it is making a decision to do something about employment if you need to. Whatever it is that we need to do to make sure that we are properly taking care of ourselves and using resources as need be.
Yes, sir.
So
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, Mr. Mayor, that kind of answers all of my questions for tonight. Certainly glad to have you as a part of the show. Is there anything that I missed that you would like to take this space and time to talk to our audience about?
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to just end on a note that I'm very excited about where our town is going. I do recognize that this is a very tumultuous time throughout the country. You know, there's a lot that's going on, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and the elections are extremely important. I know we just had elections this week, so the midterm elections, presidential elections, municipal elections, please get out and vote every chance that you get. We've seen some decreases in voter turnout. However, with our recent races this week, we did see that we came away with a couple of wins. That's what it's going to take to keep us moving forward and keep that momentum. And I will say that the other thing is that for future leaders that are looking to get into this space, I know there are some leaders that say, hey, I don't get into partisan politics, or I don't advocate on anything. I just care about my people. I care about my people also. That's the most important thing. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I'm creating better opportunities for my residents or my citizens here. But I do know what it takes to make those changes on a federal level. So every chance I get, I'm advocating for change, whether it's Republican or Democrat. If I see that it's not benefiting my people, if the policies are going to leave us in a position where we're going to be struggling or be fearing for our life, that's something that I'm gonna advocate and use my voice for. This is what they put me here for. So just continue if someone is looking to get into this arena now, because it's very essential now that we have bold leaders, people that are willing to use their voice, and people that are willing to fight. So if you're willing to get in the fight and take this serious, we need young leaders and we need more people to step up.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for that insight. If you'll hold on for just a second, we'll come back and close the show.
Thank you so much.
To the Wright Experience audience, just want to thank you. I'm so excited to be getting this work back going. We've taken a bit of a break. We're in a position now where we can continue to move the ball forward in terms of bringing you the very best guests that we can find. And as you see, we're getting the show kicked back off. Mr. White is indeed a very established, doing very well in his leadership role. And we need, as he said, more bold leaders like that throughout our great nation. I also like to take the opportunity to tell you that we're still looking for guests. So as you see this show and as you think of people that you'd like for me to interview, no matter what their genre is, what their leadership capacity is, no matter what they do, we'll certainly have this platform open to interview people and learn a little bit more about them and present you the very best content that we can. I want to take an additional time just for a second to shout out our sponsor. It is Infinity Force Group. That group does tremendous work with leadership and making leaders better, motivational speaking, a little bit of everything. So I invite you to take the opportunity to send an email to learn more about the organization, as well as our website, which is infinityforcegroup.com. You might see a familiar face on that platform. Mr. White, I just want to thank you so very much for coming on the show. This platform is open to you at any time, Mr. Mayor, any time that you want to come back and be a part of this, whether we're talking about the mayorship or anything else that you have on your mind that our viewers want to know. This platform is certainly open to you to do that. And we are so thankful and proud of the work. You know, I remember when, I'll say it that way. And so certainly pleased with the progress. And anytime leaders embark on leadership, it is just that. It is a ship that you have to sometimes build a floorboard occasionally to keep it from sinking. And, you know, sometimes you may have to steer it in a different direction. Sometimes you might have to throw water out to keep it from sinking. And that's okay. But because ultimately the goal is to have that ship sail in the direction that it needs to go in. And so if you can take it from a 59-year-old man, I just simply say keep up the good work and keep moving forward, and let us, those of us that are willing, help you in your journey to make the town and the area a better place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And to the Wright Experience audience, thank you and good evening.